All right, so I'm gonna be demonstrating for you guys the SOAZ soft tissue work. To give a little bit of context, the SOAZ is one of our most important deep hip flexors. Essentially, it connects our femur to our lumbar vertebrae. So it naturally holds a lot of stress in the body. When it happens, we're shortening those muscles, and that kind of provides us into this like shortened position where our torso and our rib cage is kind of down. What this does is it kind of inhibits our ability to get into nice lumbar extension. So it makes this process of bending backwards and kind of getting into those thoracic regions a whole lot harder. So we're gonna kind of go through a few drills to target that area. The first one, the biggest struggle is gonna be kind of locating that area. So a good rule of thumb is you want about an inch away from your belly button and then an inch up. It should be right under your rib cage. That's kind of the area that we're gonna be targeting in the first drill. All you're gonna need is a plyo ball, whether it's green or pink. That's kind of where I would stay. I think the black is probably a little bit too heavy, but all you're gonna wanna do is place the ball kind of on that spot. So again, an inch away from our belly button, an inch up towards the rib cage right there. Then from there, all we're doing is kind of bringing our knees up, tilting our pelvis upwards so our back lays flat on the ground. And then all you're gonna need is a kettlebell, just to kind of provide some force down into the ball, just to kind of loosen up the area a little bit. So just right here, and then all we're doing is kind of oscillating. This is a very weird drill in the sense that you're not necessarily gonna feel it kind of free up. You might not necessarily feel anything flare up, but you're still gonna be loosening up kind of where you need to do. The big thing here is just really focusing on keeping the pelvis tilted upwards and keeping the back flat and providing a lot of pressure down into the ball. The kettlebell can kind of be a big thing with this. So grab a weight where you're really going to kind of feel that pressure down. So for example, this is a little bit light. I would probably want something more close to like a 20, 25 pound kettlebell. So just make sure you can really feel that pressure downwards. The second one is my personal favorite and kind of a better way to target the SOAZ. But essentially we're just going to be getting more into this area right here, where we can more so target those deep hip flexors. All you're going to do is, again, kettlebell. A good rule of thumb, same thing with the lacrosse balls. The larger the handle, the less or the more surface area, then the less pressure we're gonna feel. The smaller the handle, the less surface area, the more pressure you're gonna feel. So something smaller, you're gonna feel a whole lot more, kind of get into that area. So in terms of progressing it, maybe start with something that has a little bit more of a thicker handle and then work your way to something smaller and smaller. All you're gonna do is kind of have that kettlebell in a little bit of an angle that matches your hips, and all we're gonna be doing is kind of laying on that spot. So it's a little bit hard to get into that position, but you just want to lay over it, find where the kettlebell kind of nestles into that area, and all we're doing is just putting all our pressure down into it and laying down. From here, all we're trying to do is focus on our breaths. Really take nice deep breaths in, deep breaths out, and feel the body kind of melt over top of the kettlebell. We really want to loosen up our whole body and really feel ourselves sink into that pressure that the kettlebell is providing. So again, just a few deep breaths here. To really feel a lot of stress leave the shoulders, and again, mimic that feeling of melting into the kettlebell. Those are both great drills for targeting the SOAZ for soft tissue work.